Hello everybody and welcome back to another CB Showtunes tutorial. Now today what we're going to do is we're going to be continuing on with our previous tutorial on creating a video game, and today we're going to be creating the resource nodes blocks so then we could just set them around the scene and edit them later. We'll also be creating the grass and putting on the trees. So you will need to go over to this assets file right here, or tab, and then go over to import packages environment for this tutorial. If you don't have that, they have it on the asset store as well. Okay, so to get started, we're going to create two folders. So the first one's going to be prefab or prefabs. The second one is going to be called materials. Okay. So inside the materials folder, we're going to create a new material, and we're going to call this resource node mat for a resource node material. We're going to change this to transparent. You could also choose fade if you want to. Drop down the, the A by about half maybe, and then raise up the color to about green or so. Go ahead and drop that down. Perfect. Okay, so to create a resource node, we're going to create a 3D object and make a cube. We're going to reset the position by selecting this cog and then pressing reset underneath the transform value. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. And we're going to raise this up a little bit, so put it at about 0.5. Scale on the X by 2, scale on the Z by 2, and go ahead and drag our color on there. And as you can see, it is quite transparent. We're also going to find where it says box collider and set it to is trigger. Perfect. Lastly, we're going to name this resource node. Okay, so head over to your prefab folder, click your game object in your hierarchy and drag it into your prefab folder. Alright, so now we're going to just simply drag these all the way across the environment. I don't like that where it is. Yeah, so we're just going to drag these everywhere, and then these are where we're going to be collecting items, which is going to be super awesome. Okay, perfect. So now since we got our resource nodes set out everywhere, we're going to create an empty game object. Go ahead and reset its position as well. And we're going to call this resource node group. And then go ahead and drag all of our resource nodes into that. Perfect. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and decorate our terrain with grass and trees. So for starters, we're going to go ahead and select grass. So select your ground, and we're going to find this little tab right here. We're going to go to Edit Details, Add Grass Texture, and then you're going to select this. Now grass texture is simply a PNG file that is saved. So it could be any one of these items from the broadleaf, the the cap 01, any one of these items. In fact, we could use the grass frond, or this one that I personally created. Not very great, but it works. So we're going to choose one I created, and I'm going to change the height down to about, I think a 0.25, and we're going to put max height to about a 0.5. Because the height is actually essentially almost as big as the character is, so that's why I do that. Keep in mind though that this grass, the widths, I would keep it the same, mainly because it will have issues if you don't. So we're going to go ahead and press add, and I'm going to add like this little splotchy method right here. That way we don't get too many, too much grass, so we're just going to drag this all the way across the screen. And go to game view. Perfect. So now we have grass inside our scene, and we're going to go ahead and add some trees. So we're going to go edit trees, add tree. And if you imported the environment package, you will have all these different types of trees, maybe even more of them. We're going to add the broadleaf. That looks good. So now since this is such a small environment, we're going to press mass place trees, and we're going to choose just 50. Now the bigger your environment is, the more trees you'll need, but since this is such a tiny environment, we really don't need it. So we're going to save it, and then we're going to press play. So once it loads up, we're going to actually be able to check out our scene that we just created. And as you can see, our resource nodes are there, our grass is there as well, and our trees are all sitting out everywhere, which is awesome. Okay, so now what we need to do is we're going to add in like the water, because that's what we said we needed, right? So we're going to go over to our standard assets, go to environments, you're going to find water, water prefabs, and you could choose pro daytime, pro nighttime, whatever you want. I'm going to scale it out to like 250 by 250, I think. And then we need to figure out how much we need to adjust it down, because as you can see, some of our land is actually covered up. So we're going to say like -5 perhaps. Maybe have this little area over here filled with water. Okay, that looks good. We're going to press Control S. Then we're going to press play and we're going to see how it looks. So now keep in mind it is always how it looks to the player. So if you just feel like you want something put somewhere, then you can do that. But I always go from the player's point of view, as in if it looks good to you from the player's point of view, then it's got to look good to somebody else. So once I find this watering hole, I'll be able to see. Okay, so I don't like the tree right there because it is in the way, and I think it's a little bit deep, but besides that, it's not bad. So what we'll do is we'll add like a invisible barrier that you can't travel under. So let's do that right now. So we're going to create a 3D object. Let's go ahead and go to a plane. Reset the position. And let's go and just drag it over here. Drag it over here. And let's just drag it under the water just a little bit. Now we want it to be, the player to be slightly under the water, but not greatly under the water. So we'll just lower it down just a tad bit. And we'll test it out when we get our player. So we're going to say maybe 5 by 5. Make sure that it covers the entire watering hole and all. And once it's done, we'll be able to actually experiment with it. So let's actually go 10 by 10 because it's not going to harm anything. It's just going to be there under the ground. So that ain't too bad. So let's press Control S. We're going to grab our player and we're just going to move him over. Yeah. Oh, never mind. Nope. I forgot this one is actually designed a little bit different. Okay, so once we get our player in, I think it's behind us. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just check how far we go under the water. Not that deep, actually, which isn't horrible. But I want it to go a little bit deeper. So we're going to go ahead and grab that plane and drag it just a little bit further under. I think that's good. Yeah, that's perfect. So now we're just going to turn off the mesh render, and now it's invisible. Don't have to worry about it. Great. And we'll just drag it underneath the water pro day and drag that under the ground, which is now perfect. All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish this up by just deleting this one tree, and then we'll be good. So let's go and select that, shrink it down a little bit, hold down shift, and then just delete that tree. And then we'll just place a couple more right there. All right, and that is it for this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions regarding this tutorial or any other tutorials, make sure to leave a comment into the comment section below. If you are interested in having your own ideas put into this game, make sure to leave that comment inside the comment section below as well. And also, I would love to actually hear and see what you guys have going on with new games that you guys want to make or things that you're interested in learning. It would be awesome to actually hear from that. And yeah, so our next tutorial, we're going to be adding the scripts to our resource nodes and also having our player actually be able to pick up items, which is going to be super awesome. So If you like this tutorial, make sure to like, subscribe, check out some other videos, and I'll see you guys next time.